It's a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to address you. Convocation marks the beginning of the academic year. It's one of those quaint academic traditions that smacks of a bygone era, like wearing academic regalia. These gowns and this ceremony today remind us that we're part of a long tradition of learning. But frankly, in today's world, these gowns make us look a little bit silly. The next time we professors will look this silly, or at least the next time we'll all look silly simultaneously, will be commencement. Between today's welcome and May's send-off, we'll spend countless hours teaching and advising, offering opinions to you and listening to your views. Well, to be honest, we're professors. We'll spend a lot more time offering our opinions and listening to your views. For you first-year students, Convocation marks the start of your graduate education at Fletcher. Now, at the beginning of this journey, on behalf of the faculty and my colleagues, I'd like to say a few words to both the incoming and the continuing students about the importance of a Fletcher education in today's world. You've come to Fletcher because you're animated by what goes on in the world. And who wouldn't be? The past few years have been filled with a series of unprecedented events. Today, September 11th, is the 8th anniversary of an incident whose reverberations will be felt for decades. More recent history has also unfolded in surprising and important ways. Tomorrow will mark a year since the failure of Lehman Brothers and the subsequent seizing up of world financial markets. As an economist, I have to admit that in the middle of this decade, I had thought we had moved beyond the threat of another Great Depression. We now know this is not the case. But my forecasting failures and those of my fellow economists should be put in some context. In 2005, how many political scientists would have predicted the 2008 election of an African American named Barack Hussein Obama, whose slogan was, "Yes, we can"? And a few years ago, how many international affairs experts would have predicted protests roiling the streets of Tehran after this June's election, an election of questionable integrity, in which it seems that the slogan of President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad was, "Yes, I can." Slogans have their place, of course, but these halls are not one of them. In the political arena and in the media, facile phrases are often used as substitutes for thought. Slogans replace analysis. Honest inquiry, as well as civil discussion, is often lost. Well, I have a strategy for combating this. It's not so much a strategy as a bumper sticker. Ideas, not slogans. Were this not self-contradictory, it might make a good slogan for Fletcher. But even as it is, I'll present one for email. You can put it on Fletcher 1. In the face of a confusing and ever-changing world, it's enticing to fall back on slogans. But I actually have a better idea than ideas, not slogans. It's to teach serious, demanding, and relevant courses to gifted and hardworking students. This is a strategy that my colleagues and I have been following during the past 2 decades while I've been here. And indeed, it's been a hallmark of the Fletcher education since the founding of the school in 1933. Over the next 9 months, we'll be engaged as a community in an effort to foster careful analysis, sound reasoning, and historical perspective. This will occur in the classroom, in seminars, but also at special lectures, conferences, on campus, and even in hallways and offices. The Fletcher curriculum and the learning that occurs in our extracurricular activities offers a powerful way to approach the challenges of understanding everyday events. The Nobel laureate Paul Krugman has written that when the world presents us with a genuinely new problem, guesswork is all that we have to go on. But those who discipline their guesses with models are more reliable than those who fly by the seat of their pants, no matter how well tailored. When Krugman says models, he means economic models, and what he means by that is sound logical frameworks and careful analyses which are informed by data and historical perspective. Here at Fletcher, we can interchangeably substitute legal analysis or frameworks based on political science or historical study for economic models. But they all point to the same thing: logical reasoning, a respect for data, a willingness to entertain alternative viewpoints, and briefly put, ideas, not slogans. This past year has offered a striking example of the power of ideas. As you may know, Ben Bernanke spent much of his academic career focusing on the Great Depression of the 1930s. Some may think this a quaint historical undertaking, but the knowledge that Bernanke gained through his research, the analysis he developed to understand the Great Depression, and the history that informed his view of the world helped him immeasurably when, as chairman of the Federal Reserve, he fought to avoid the possible Great Depression of this decade. As Mark Twain wrote, "History does not repeat, but it does rhyme." And to appreciate the rhyme scheme, the cadences, and the meter, you need a model, a framework, a way of approaching the world that has stood the test of scrutiny. The current economic crisis and the policy responses to it show the practical nature of scholarly research, a demonstration that these silly gowns that your professors are wearing today and that you will wear at graduation are more practical than the seats of the well-tailored pants of those who have not been exposed to the lessons you will learn at Fletcher. So today, as we begin another academic year, I wish all of us a year of discovery, learning, and ideas. And once again, for me, I appreciate the opportunity to be a participant in this very worthy endeavor.